So it came to me that our session today will be about how to live in full energy without giving it to the system. It's very important. We always want to know how to deal with it because nobody told us how much we already are ready and that we see and feel everything correct. But when we come back to the normal life, we always return to the same old problems. Um, okay, so we do live interesting. It's an interesting time in general. And of course, I always want to answer your questions because this is how even more interesting ideas and thoughts come up, and we together discover then the solutions for everything. I mean, we already know everything, but the system is like a virus. It's adapting to our knowledge and it reads our emotions and our moods. So how is the parasite system built? It always tries to keep up. So even when we think that people are nice and we're sharing our souls and we're like interact with them, a lot of times we get like a slap in the face from it or them. So this is why the whole attention goes back to ourselves, to the inside. So this is now I suggest to return all of your thoughts into the center of yourself without giving it to the outside. Why do we live like this when we are like sharing everything to the outside, like bringing our energy to the outside? This is because in ourselves there exist little parts of programs to like share to the outside with the world, so we are appreciated, that we are wanted, that we can get into a society or whatever. And this program is called the fear of loneliness. So at the end of the day, we come to this world lonely or alone, and we leave this world alone. But this society that actually awakens us, heals us, this is not the outer world, but the inner world, our inner state, and the consciousness of ourselves. And only if we lose ourselves, we kind of drop off the orbit of our harmonic and nice life, and we try to find ourselves inside of somebody else. Do you relate to that? Yeah. So what do? We need to always turn back to ourselves, get back with our attention to ourselves. And whenever you feel that, oh, something's again, something's like upsetting me or whatever, don't start to search for the answer in the outside. Everything is in the inside, and it's always in the center, in the solar plexus, not in some parts of the body. It's in the center of ourselves because we are energy. Every one of us is energy. So whenever you feel through or think through, I mean, if you give like a mental candy to your mind, what is yourself, or what are you yourself? You always first start to see your surface of the body, but it's only the surface of the body. What if this body looks also like a neurologic system or our blood system. I mean, you can Google how a person looks without skin, for example. It looks disgusting, but it's also the body. It's also kind of a form, organized geometrically and like structured and has a surface. Yeah. So this is a fact. To turn off to turn off our physical structure from identifying ourselves, what is there left? I mean, maybe somebody sees like a cloud or just kind of a state, but you can also identify with that. Um, it's like a definition of yourself. It always depends on how you yourself perceive it. I mean, this is also your you, but scientists kind of measured it already as like a zero 0.2 gram, how heavy the soul is. But this cloud or this lightness, it's about the soul. And whenever I call myself soul, it kind of feels strange, but maybe it is a grouped information of something more or bigger than what I identify with and what I know about myself. What if this is a kind of a manifestation of the great consciousness, which doesn't fit in the mind from the body that exists here on this planet, and also those people that are surrounding us, who we always come to try to want them to help us and whatever. They are all organized the same, and everyone knows the same. Every one of them has this little part of fear, or this subconscious program, which is called I am afraid to be alone. Like being lonely is the most dangerous um, yeah, the most dangerous thing you can get. It's some kind came with me to me in my dreams, but I mean, in my dreams I saw like a lot of big, huge men, and I felt like masculinity in them. And when they took a person that I know like to the side, and they had like a situation of betray, and they 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 took him into the outside and he kind of disappeared, and this was like a concrete dream. And they showed me that this, like to disappear alone in the outside, is like the worst thing that could happen. Not like a disease or something, but to get like thrown out, to be left alone. And something like that can only happen to a person who is searching for like those negative things in other people to get something out of it. But when you return to yourself, like to your own system, it's also a system. It's a system of acknowledging yourself, of values, and it doesn't matter how you call it. But knowing this, do you need outer, like people, decorations, and everything else in the outside, whenever you identify with the center of your own being? Like, look at the galaxy. It looks the same actually. It has a center from which there is a spiral movement, and it's the same movement in ourself. It's in every form, in every energy, in every flow. Whenever you lose the center of it, then the galaxy or the system just disappears. So now let's try to feel this center of movement inside yourself. Listen to it. It sounds. You can feel it, even on a level of emotion. And whenever you search in the outer world something that we call love, like something very, very valuable, always try to bring the attention in the center of yourself. What do you feel now? What kind of emotions come to your body? And it's not the head. The emotions can be also manifest in any organ and also in any other part of the world, of the body. Your heart can think and feel. Your stomach can do that, can be angry or sad or mad. Your liver can like tighten up and be like very sad. And we always wait for something like to judge, for someone to like yeah, put the judgment over us. But who inside of us is thinking like that when I am the center of my own movement? So also when everything is my own projection, my from my own states of my soul, from the states of my mind and everything. So every single chemical like destruction is only regulated if I return to myself. So if you have any questions to that, you can always ask questions. I have participants here. Maybe you have something that is bothering you. Which themes can we discuss today? Good day, Ina. I would like to ask. So, not a long time ago, we were talking about the dreams. Whenever you don't feel well in a dream, you just have to lighten yourself up, and then everything kind of disappears in light. So those situations that I don't like in my dreams, I did that. I went in and I lightened it up. Well, first of all, my mind was thinking like I need to like stop the picture, and then I see how the emotion disappears, and these emotions stops bothering me then. So, I mean, like the past or the dream is the same kind of, it doesn't exist anymore, right? So we just created this game to like take some energy or emotions, or how would you call this? Well, I think that I always return to the other side. We live in a dual world, so how they do to us, same we do to them. So we always forget about that we are searching our whole life for emotions. We kind of try to hang out in our lifetime to get emotions, to get adrenaline, to get some fears out of us or something like that. And when this game gets too deep, the system, which with what we are playing or interacting, also starts to come to some points where it starts to play like this, that we are starting to ask it for what do we do now, what do we, yeah, how can we get help or whatever. So the system plays the same as we do. You can imagine when when you were like obedient maybe to something or someone, and what kind of form is your body, like how do you look like when you're asking someone for something? You don't look like a winner, right? Like your posture. So you are a person who needs something, who has no ability to heal it himself or whatever. So the system, as a normal computer processor, just reads those informations and acts to this role of this person, like the other way around, like the dual world. So it starts to teach or to help or to doctor or whatever. So whenever we lose ourselves and we start to get like in the victim mode, we will always get something from the system that will yeah, be the opposite of it. And these are like certain situations. It goes through people or through like, yeah, situations that will teach us the same lesson all the time. And dreams show us this projection of this lifeline. And everything that we need is to remember ourselves, to center ourselves, to co-organize ourselves as a free self-identifying mechanism, because our body is also like a mechanism. Whenever we understand that, we come back to balance and our mind gets into its place again. And we don't have to think about anything, that somebody is using me or destroying me or always tries to like eat some energy of mine. Like unconsciously we lack for this. Give me, please. I mean, we already lived like more than half of the life already. So also it starts with the puberty period, whenever those programs comes and cultivates in ourselves. So families, streets, schools, you know. So and then we meet those people who are also the victims, and then there starts like fights as who's right, who's wrong, who's a friend, who's not, and we start to overthink. Then it's actually the reality, and everything that we see and perceive is also is a projection of our consciousness. Someone who sees rain, then next to it stands somebody who sees like beautiful like cold weather, you know, like, or somebody has luck but I didn't, so whenever I had luck I would whatever. So whenever I understand that we are all in the thin material or fine material world, like a spiral made out of energy, and we are all a part of something great, and every one of us has like an equal possibility for everything. Then we start to awake, actually. Then we start to understand there is only me and nobody in the outside. There's only like me and the translating and perceiving system, like my body consciousness. And somebody sees completely different colors. Somebody looks at the image that is abstract and sees some persons or personalities, and another one looks at the same picture and sees something completely different. Like the mistake is that we try to understand other people through our own prisma of perception. So we can't do this. You always need to just return to yourself and remember yourself, and to manifest whatever you want to think or you don't want to think. What is good for you, what is not good for you. You don't have to think those thoughts. You can just look at them, observe them. How does it look? How does it sound? I mean, at the end of the day, it's the interest that comes up with the thoughts, and you can always be smarter than that and just lose the interest of these or that thought, you know? There will come another thought. I mean, it's a very interesting game whenever you start to play it. You will always think of more possibilities how to like play with this game. I mean, this is not only your mind, but it is filled with the outer systems, programs that we were talking about, but you are also there. So this is something I was dreaming of, or something. And then the next question will be, why am I here? Why did I want this or dreamt of it? And this is something so intimate, because you start to think of what is it that you want or I want from life. So the next question would be, but who am I? Like, you know, and you start to like dig deeper and deeper to and come eventually to your soul, or to this cloud, as I called it at the beginning. What is this cloud? The answer will come anyway to you. It's kind of like an energy that is what? I mean, write it down or say it. What is it here for? What does it exist for? What does it want to achieve? What is it? What does it dream of, this energy? And don't be lazy. Literally think about it. Those answers will come in calmness and in a state of relaxation. So try to like shake water in the glass, and you will see that at some point it will start to calm down and will get like balanced again. But it's the same for our soul. So what is this that brings her into like shaking mode? And you can see it out of the inside, like from the observing perspective. What is that makes you fear? What is that makes you do certain things or feel certain emotions or whatever? But you need to trust yourself, because there is no one that can judge you there, you know? If you are just with yourself, it's so intimate, you won't judge yourself. It's actually the other way around. In this kind of, you know, this is like, how can I say it? It's like an energetic, mental, like when you hug yourself, your soul, you you hug your your closeness to open up, you know? So you understand that you let this unconditional love flow into yourself, because you don't love yourself for something, but unconditionally. There is not this moment where you say or think something like this, well, I do love myself because I am this or that, or I can do something special or whatever. No, but what is it that you love yourself for? Like, for what do I really want to know myself? I mean, feel how the soul starts to vibrate like a little child when the mother wants to hug it or take it in the arms, whenever this child does not understand what is good or bad or right or wrong, and he just smiles. It lives in this child, this smile, you know, and it does it like for itself and not for somebody. and you will start how um, this energy starts to change your breath, you know. You can like tell me also in the chat that if you understand what I'm saying or not. Whenever you feel this, there start to take place very interesting situations. So those things that you have seen in the front row of your life, they start to disappear. And as like something from the surface is just cutting off deeper and deeper from those things that we thought that are important for us. And then some situations disappear, people disappear, we ourselves in those situations disappear. You can relate to that as a cleansing process, like a reborning process of yourself. Like it's a healing, like a layer healing of yourself. We are literally like kale, you know, like we are like put into some thoughts, situations, programs, and we all took it into our lives because we didn't know, or even we did, and it was conscious, but it all went through those situations when we were fearful. And this fear was cultivated in a manipulation process. And this manipulation or this value system, we did regulate ourselves into us. We built principles out of that, but not our own principles, but principles from others. Like, I need to work hard till I almost die, and only then I can get something great in my life. But how can you live this good through in your life whenever you like a long time did things that made you weak and tensed and I don't know, ill? Like you don't have the energy, then the strength, the power to use your those good things that come to you, to like use them. You don't even recognize them because our attention and focus is on healing ourselves and to like let those layers disappear that we just like took on. So we actually were thinking about something bad. We were going to bed and seeing our next day like, oh, I have this problem and I need to fix this tomorrow and that, like only the stressy parts. I mean, it's like lenses. You have like different colors also of them, but this is not about colors, but about lenses that are like filtered with problems. This is how you see the world. But this was our definition. This is our definition that we need to give something to the system, to God, to people. And again, I feel like it's all tensed inside. But who am I? This sad person who always lives in a need, in a need of auto reactions, like judge myself, like judge me for something or give me a like, I mean, I'm good, right? I can't do that myself, right? So let's try to bring the focus and the attention to the inside, and then let feel the lightness, the energy that does not depend on outer judgments. It's just living, it's pulsating, and it's always here with me, and it's always carrying everything. It will always come back to a calm state, because this is the energy of the galaxy and or universe, and this is already harmonized. You cannot take it out of its orbit. It's something more great than I manifest here in the world of forms, in the world of duality, of contradiction. And no matter what our structure, this planet will anyway come to balance what is actually already happening now. I mean, if you look at the whole population of the world, not everyone lives in purity or in war, but there are people who live their lives in harmony and balance, and they like love themselves. And it doesn't mean that they're super rich and are driving yachts or whatever, but it's about the state of soul. They're comfortable with their own soul. They perceive the calmness of these energy, and they have none of these tensions in their heads that are tensioning up the energy flows, and they're all connected to the system, to our organs. And imagine when you like turn off a knot of this neural system, then the whole neural system just turns off. So this is what happens actually. Whatever good happens in my life, I still feel bad or not that good, and I don't feel like freedom. So I want um, to suggest a craniosacral therapy. I mean, knowing that our physical bodies does not only exist of the surface, like the skin or those organs, but we also have fascial texture. Like um, try to move move your skin and try to feel where it like glued, where it's glued to the bones. And you can also feel how you um how you relax your brain and your head, and try to feel how this um relaxation goes down, and then you feel this movement not only on the head but also in the back or the stomach, like, or in the adrenalinic system, or and literally like walk um over the whole surface of the head. Somebody will might also get to the neck. It's also okay if you want to move something there, it's also good. And it's interesting, are there like zones who like are sticked to the head that you can like move them, like try to do it to left, to right, for and the back, or even if it's like not moving into some directions, would be very interesting to know. What does happen in your head now? Your eyes. Is there anything that you can name? Well, I see some comments. My eyes widened up. Somebody says he or she got calmer. Please tell me more. Calm. Nobody's talking to me here in the. So I know that sometimes people don't want to speak because they're in that kind of states that they don't want to step out and to say something because it's also energy that it should need to bring. And then it starts like, oh, how will I look? How will I sound? And stuff like that. Okay, somebody says it's a little pain. So I am like tech support, translator, and also commenting. So maybe it also hurts because I do a lot of stuff simultaneously. But whenever you start to correct your fascial body, then the the flows are opening up, like from the liquid systems, you know. Whenever you start to open up all those sticking fluids, then the inner system activates. Somebody is like closing their eyes like a cat. So somebody wants to join here in the conference to ask something. So, you know, it's very nice when you don't have thoughts in your head. I mean, I don't know if somebody already experienced that, but it feels like as if you just disappear somewhere and you're looking at a point, but you don't see the point, not yourself, you just like disappear. And whenever earlier it was like more frequent and somebody asked me or my dad was like hello, are you here? And you're like what? And you were asking and you couldn't remember. It's like a restart of yourself. It's a very healthy and nice thing to do, actually. So, you know, also like from our technological stuff, we also need to clean it, like restart it, to delete something, to delete something that you don't need, meaning you live your new self and start to build yourself like this, that those old things that are in your memory, they don't belong there anymore, you know, because this memory is based on principles, thoughts, and whatever from the outside. But there is no one. There is only me. Ina, can I share something? In the beginning, when we started to talk about the mind, there came something to me like whenever I sit and learn German language, it's like a system, like my enemy. I sit down 2, 3 minutes, I like it. And then after 3 minutes, it starts like my mind starts to okay, let's go out, let's go wash some dishes or something, like, and I feel that my mind is like my enemy. But now I understand that it's my mind is not my enemy, but I can actually use it to help me. So thank you very much for this insight that I just got. Well, yeah, it's also very interesting for me that you said that. Let's try to step out in the state or position of the mind, and it sits and listens. And you tell me, like the mind says, you tell me that I am your enemy. I was your whole life protecting you start to try to bring you to some good. And now you sit and tell me that I'm your enemy. And whenever that starts, like you can also stand up and take some water in your face or drink a glass of water. It's like a restart from that, what you started to do. Whenever you look deeper, then you may find that it's not the mind that is speaking to you, but maybe it's like an automatic system inside yourself that starts to think of its resources and try to like save them. You know, saying, "Hey, Vika, stop, let's do this and that." Because whenever we learn something or like we put a lot of energy and resources in it, right? And whenever your mind or whoever says you or tells you to clean the dishes or whatever, you can ask yourself, why should I do this for? I mean, you can maybe see that, okay, well, my back is very tensed, my face is very tensed. You are tense. You won't perceive this information as it should be, to feel like good or to like remember everything. So this is what actually happens. So whenever you stop seeing everyone and everything as enemies, first thing that you understand, okay, how do they see me? So who I am for them. So who am I for my body, you know? So who are you for your body? Are you its friend or someone that always interrupts and disturbs or whatever else? Or God or a coworker or higher consciousness that lives in this body. So whenever you start to understand that I can um, support my body, I allow it to relax, I allow it everything it needs, and then you have this healthy feeling of responsibility that you should bring to your body. And it's not like a debt, but something like a self, like a super health um, responsibility that you need to bring up to your body because it needs you, it needs it. And for sure, you know that in our body, there are like more organisms living, like microbiotics, or I mean, we call them healthy bacteria or not healthy bacteria, but it's also everything very interesting because it got all messed up with the information. But whenever I understand that there are more organisms living inside ourselves, and they are also responsible for our states, you know, then you can also start to like find a way to speak with them, to allow yourself to feel this or that. But you maybe relate to that as like whenever you want to eat something and you start to feel who actually wants to eat something you, it's not you and your soul, your body, but it's the subsystems um, which is in search or need. There's a lack of something, or like, I mean, you can speak to them. You will also hear their consciousness and you can speak to them. You can like find an agreement, you know? It's like a state system. They're like living organisms, and you can always try to find a way to get to an agreement. So whenever you have this thought of, ah, I'm doing something like drinking alcohol or smoking that is not good for my body, but you're thinking like, ah, it's okay, it will survive it, you know? So you can about have a chat and you can always ask, what can I get into my organism that is maybe healthy for me? what is the lack that I'm missing? That's because of what am I doing those like unhealthy things? So so this organism structure is very important. It's like when you are pregnant and your fetus is only starts to develop, and but it already knows what it needs and wants. It's already in a dialogue with our biological system in its collective understanding, you know. So our cells are already like communicating, and they already like saying like, yeah, I need this and that, I want this and that, please give me this. So there's like this unconditional love, and our body always loves the one that it wants to bring into this world. So but when there is like a problem or a resistance, and you see that the baby will be not born or something like that, or lost. But it's also most of the times an interaction from our mind. So whenever you understand that you are not your mind, and you have, or you are the consciousness which is not which is like not only your thoughts, your emotions, your programs that you your needs, your wants, those programs of fears, then you understand that you can like walk through it and take the information that you really need. Like just stand up and go and drink a glass of water, or eat something that your body literally wants now. So whenever you feel that you want this protein, no matter if it's from meat or not, so or you feel that you need vitamin A or E or B, I mean, whenever you have a lack of those minerals, then we tend to think that we want to eat something unhealthy. But step by step, you will understand your own misunderstandings. It's like a broken telephone. Like my biological system gives me the right information to act, but due to the fact that my neurostructure is broken, I get something completely different, and I live with it. Now look at how long you already live like this, and what you're living through, what kind of life you live. Whenever your body is um, out of harmony, you always want to like sleep all the time, or you don't want anything. And there's like, I don't know anything, I don't want anything. Everyone is guilty. The whole life I was like working, doing something, did only good, and at the end, I don't live in happiness. Nobody needs anything of you. We ourselves, I will repeat it. We need to get to ourselves, to our center, to this movement, to this process of the movement from the universe, because everything is going in a spiral in those rounds, and it's not like closed. It's like a eternal spiral of renewing. And whenever I go into this harmony, into this rhythm, then first of all, the chemistry of my body starts to react. Everything gets calm. I can just imagine it, this movement. And I mean, like calmness is not that doesn't mean still stand. It is always movement, but you can feel the relaxation process when everything kind of relaxes and kind of widens up. It's like a cosmic movement. You return into this cosmic movement. Try to feel how your diaphragma relaxes. Let's bring up the axotonal movements. We do that every week in our group. So now I feel the flows. You need to connect to your star system. It's like primitive names, you know? I mean, it's only for the mind. There are actually no names for it. There are only feelings, perception towards that. Whenever we reconnect those lights with our self light, then there's like this widening. I mean, also my hands are like widening up, as if this sphere of energy went into expansion. So the flow is floating. And there is a so she referred to a Russian tale. So the reptiloid system just took the solar system and just turned it around. That's what actually really happened. So when we return return this energy to its right place, and you start to feel this expansion in a lot of different layers in all of our positions. There is no seeable or unseeable, it just is. It just is, no matter
Вот
if
как
you
да,
see it or
произошло
not.
расширение, и вот
How are the
живу я
feelings?
в доме, а дом такой
What kind
маленький.
of
Ну, то есть материальные помещения и так далее.
experiences do you have?
Ну, все такое, а ты как великан
Yeah,
просто
please
идешь,
tell
и
us.
параллельно с
Hi,
тебя
everyone.
слетает какая-то энергия со
So
стороны,
I felt this
массажи и так
expansion.
далее. Все прям
And for example, I am in a house
вообще
and the
вот
house is like
такой
very
теплый
tiny.
поток, и какие-то бабочки, все жужжит
So
рядом.
it's like
Музычка
material
такая
places,
жужжит. Интересно.
but I am like a
В этот момент
huge being. And at some points, like heaviness and tensions are just falling off myself. It's like a ultraviolet flow, like a vibration. Very interesting. This is what I experience now. So also in this moment, the mind looks for
Откуда это все пошло?
persons or images, you know.
Понятие вот
This comes also
этого всего,
from these
энергии
programs. I
благодати
mean, I
поток.
see butterflies, I hear, I don't
Отсюда это
know,
нужно видеть.
some noises, but this is also like an imagination of our nervous system. You know, something came just to me.
Цветет,
It's not,
да.
it's that we can't accept. It's about the acceptance. So I need to see, to feel. It's like a program of not accepting. It's not accepting, it's more like a control. I need to hold everything, I need to feel, I need to define everything. If I see it, I need to fix it in myself. And if it just flew next to me, then I don't recognize it and it just disappears. But it's like a program that you just put inside yourself, like putting it on in its place. I need to like write it down and put it somewhere. But whenever I just see those butterflies just as energy. They just start to get this energy and they just fly away, because I let go then. I let go of this control. And then I maybe feel something else getting out of me. Anya's texting. I saw my body as a mechanism of genes and codes from our ancestors. It always, so I can change the gene codes and everything. Yes, of course, we can do it. But do we allow it to happen? I mean, it's also interesting whenever we um, get in our group together once a week, like a quantum neurologic relaxation, we discuss a lot and speak about a lot of stuff. And we came to that, like ourselves, like the participants start to say, I understand now why not immediately those things happen after like a session that I did with, some of them say it happens, but they don't even recognize it because there's like a lot of changes. But there doesn't have to happen everything at once. But, or because my system, like my mental system, might be not ready for it, but also the physics can also be not ready for it. But whenever I consciously um, take those adjustments and stuff that happens, then my body starts to say, oh, wait, I have headache or some pain somewhere. And that's because the physical body has an it's a state of a tense geometry. It's like an those living throughs that we are used to whenever I breathe like not in a full amplitude, where I always search for something that is bad. I mean, yesterday I smiled, today I definitely will cry because yesterday I smiled. So my body is forced to tense. And whenever I work with somebody, um, then I craniosacral feel those tensions. Like, why did you like put your shoulders together? Ah, and then the one sees it and like opens it up also like physically, like whenever he or she changes the position of those shoulders, you start to understand that you all the time like walk like looking down on the floor and like closing. And why do you look at the floor? Because you always search for something to like fall into, or yeah. So whenever you start to like let those flows in your body, where you start to feel the eternal movement, this power, the strength, and the body starts to like open up, it's of course it can be uncomfortable, and that's why our systems tend to do it like in a slow way, like to adjust all this astral, the physical body, like all the bodies, and step by step it's getting in balance, or returns to its like place of balance and calmness. So you may start to think or to see that your reaction to a similar situation is different, or you see a person that you saw in like one-sided now from a different side. So it's kind of in others there are like uh, differences happening, but not in yourself, but actually it's your perception of the world, and actually it's your change inside of you. So So it's kind of like to put on this pants or this dress, you need to adjust first, and you start to live in a completely different regime. That's what happens. And this is why when I decode my genes and I know that I can do it, but I don't see new teeth growing, right? But when you are honest to yourself, you can exactly define, like on a scale from 1 to 10, how much I do believe in that and how much I don't. And even those two left points, like if you say it's an 8, then it will definitely lead to it's not going to happen. So you literally need to know and believe and trust in yourself for 100%. So it might be also a thought like, oh, yes, it will grow. I will have new teeth. But what if there will grow something else, you know? Only this thought can already like yeah, make it not happen. Okay, so another comment. And just telling what they feel, felt. So for a little while, you can imagine when you, for the whole 10 points or 100%, you 100% like know yourself, like without doubts. Like, I mean, it's not without doubts, the doubts does not exist. Like already the thought of the doubts does not exist. It's like so much 100%ly I don't know how to explain this. Like I don't even think of other solutions or possibilities. It's like completely another life. I mean, you still will be in the duality. You will still have left and right, but you use this duality, this left and right. But inside yourself, you are like this 100%. And also the good things can be in the past, or you can also understand that this only exists in my mind, and I can clearly see that I just won't use whatever I don't need. Like in the moment of here and now, like in the present moment, there is nothing. Because in the same moment you are in the present moment, it's already the past. So you cannot fixate it. And if you can't fixate it, you can't identify it, you can't manifest it, you can't remember it, then you don't think of those things at all. You are just in the flow. Tatiana is writing, Ina, every one of you, every single word of yours just brings happiness, pleasure. So everything is actually very simple. So simple that at the in the beginning it will be not even interesting. I mean, yeah, there is movement, okay. It's maybe sad or not interesting to that till that point where um you cannot rule it, you know, when you cannot use it and work with it and play with it. So whenever you have those feelings of need, you do me, I do you, whenever you start to interact with someone, and in the quantum rules of coherency, like that something happens without time and space in another place, So if I felt that, you need to feel it too. So if I tell you something, I need to get an answer from you. I mean, you understand what I'm talking about, right? It's like a rule. But when I just leave this person with out of this connection between I and him, and we need to interact. It's like those butterflies which just get got into energy and just disappeared. And the same happens to situations or people, because I return to myself. I co-organize with my center of movement to all of my orbits, and all of this coherency, um, the reflection and everything, it's just inside of you. You feel yourself, and you feel the processes in your body which are like happening. Isn't that what it's important? I hope it was not too much. I think there's a lot to think and process, and also to play with. So I thank you a lot for being with me today. Well, maybe not that active, but still here. So I guess it's interesting to feel all of it. I mean, those processes will still be ongoing after our session here, and they will unpack more and more. So be aware. Okay, so once again, once a week we meet with our group live, where we do um, lightening sessions. We have a lot of information on my channel on that. Um, the playgrounds that we need to switch from YouTube, because YouTube is not going. It's like Telegram, Viber, Kontakt, yeah. Okay, so thank you again. See you next time. And just lighten